What's up, Taiwan? I'm Reece with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Chinese leader Xi Jinping has vowed to prevent anyone from, quote, splitting Taiwan from China. China's state media reported the statement made at an event with other senior leaders on Tuesday. It comes just weeks before Taiwan goes to the polls to choose a new leader. China views Taiwan as part of its territory, even though it has never ruled Taiwan. It's ramped up efforts to sway the vote ahead of Taiwan's presidential elections. Prosecutors in Taiwan have issued legal guidelines to counter Chinese election interference. The rules focus on China-sponsored group tours organized by local officials and private citizens. During these trips, Chinese officials push Taiwanese visitors to vote for Beijing's preferred candidates in Taiwan's upcoming elections. Prosecutors say over 130 people have joined such tours over the past 5 months. They recently brought their first election interference charges against a man who was organizing tours funded by Beijing. Taiwan's agricultural ministry has accused Beijing of political manipulation after China lifted its ban on Taiwanese grouper. Over 300 fisheries passed quality inspections, but only 7 have been cleared by Beijing to export their products. Beijing first banned the fish imports last June, saying it found harmful chemicals, which Taipei denied. Taiwan's reps then visited China, which reportedly restarted trade, but Taipei says Beijing is not providing consistent market rules.
它本身是一个检疫的问题，如果因为人去了就可以重新开放的时候，那就是一个利用农产品当作政治操作的一个手段。
Taiwan's presidential hopefuls homed in on net zero and energy issues at their latest policy forum. For more on the 3 candidates' energy and climate platforms, Sally Jensen spoke to Zhao Jiawei, research director at the Taiwan Climate Action Network.
Net zero and nuclear power took the spotlight at the presidential candidates' second policy forum. Who do you think has the best climate and energy policies?
Yeah, it's pretty hard to say who will have the best climate policy or more comprehensive policy. So nowadays we are seeing that although there's all the candidates are committed to the 2050 net zero target, but they don't have a very clear and ambitious 2030 emission reduction strategy. Although some candidates bring this issue in the political presentation forum yesterday, but we haven't seen that they have any discussion around that very detailedly.
China is often seen as the key issue in every Taiwan election. So how important do you think energy and climate policies are to Taiwanese voters?
I think there's another angle we find out that was lacking in this discussion around the climate change and the energy issue is that they did not bring the climate security as a national security into their argument. I think they just did not understand the importance of the climate change issue under the national security discussion around the world right now.
If the candidates had a net zero New Year's resolutions list, what would you hope to see on it?
I think the only thing I want to see is that they should have a clear proposal on the industrial decarbonization, especially on the iron and the steel sector and the petrochemical industry. For environment policy, most of the candidates, they did not talk too much about that. This time, we only see the 3 candidates only focus on the climate and the energy issue. So it's sad to see they did not take a broad picture on the environmental issue.
That was Zhao Jiawei, research director at the Taiwan Climate Action Network, speaking with Sally Jensen. Rights groups say none of Taiwan's presidential candidates are doing enough to promote gender equality.
这3个大党，例如说在缩减工时这个部分，基本上都没有非常具体的一个承诺跟诉求。民进党的部分当然有一些，例如说弹性育婴假的改革这样的一个承诺，但是大部分的诉求其实是比较偏模糊的带过。国民党跟民众党的回复，其实大部分的题目是比较没有去，就是说关注到真正性别平等价值的推进。
The comments come after a group of NGOs surveyed the 3 political parties' stances on certain gender issues. The group says the responses to questions about diverse political participation, the gender pay gap and childcare were disappointing. A middle schooler has died after being stabbed by a fellow student in northern Taiwan. The 15-year-old victim had been rushed to the hospital with serious injuries to the neck and chest, but ultimately succumbed to his wounds. The attack in New Taipei happened after the two students got in an argument. School officials say the two did not know each other previously. The attacker is in police custody. Taiwan's schools have reported a growing number of violent incidents in recent years. The Education Ministry says it will step up security and counselling for students affected by violence at school. 37 people in Taiwan died from COVID-19 last week, a 2-month high as the virus makes a comeback in the country. 326 new cases were recorded last week, up about 26% from the week before, according to Taiwan's Centers for Disease Control. Officials have urged people to get the updated vaccine, which is designed to protect against the Omicron subvariant XBB. The CDC has warned it's particularly vital for older people to get the shot. Taiwan's stateless spouses are speaking out in hopes of changing the naturalization rules. Trapped in Taiwan. That's how some stateless spouses here describe themselves. Mostly women, they came to Taiwan dreaming of a better future for themselves, but instead lost their identity cards. That's because of a change in the naturalization process in 2016 that left some stuck halfway through, like Ah Xing, who came to Taiwan from Vietnam 21 years ago to marry a Taiwanese man.
我想要有拿一个身份证，我才有身份。我也是想要回家看妈妈，妈妈生病，身体也很不好，因为我放弃国籍，没办法回去呀。
Years ago, Ah Xing had already given up her Vietnamese citizenship, as required by Taiwan's old naturalization rules, and was working on meeting the residency requirement. But an update to the law made it so that immigrants could first be granted Taiwanese citizenship as long as they could provide proof they renounced their original citizenship within a year. However, some foreign spouses found that marriage can be a weak link in their naturalization process. Taiwan's Nationality Act now says that those suspected of fake marriage could have their applications dropped completely. Such was the case for Ah Xing, who works away from her family.
他一直说我没有住一起啊，结婚的要住一起，那我没住一起，就是他怀疑我假结婚这样子。
Now, some are fighting to regain their identity, with the help of new legislation. Malaysian-born DPP legislator Lo Mei Ling, who herself became naturalized in Taiwan, is proposing an amendment to protect these foreign spouses from becoming stateless during naturalization.
内政部在判定这个，可能很多时候还是有很多主观。如果是被认定说这当中你是假结婚，你就会被取消国籍。这部分我们是认为比较不合理，所以这部分的话，我们是把它给拿掉。
Many of the estimated 100 stateless people currently in Taiwan are thought to be stuck in limbo because of a change in the law. Experts say the immigration agency can't ignore these people.
几年到几年有这样的情况，然后呢，不可归因于己的情况，我们去整理一下，然后这些人呢，我们让他重新取得身份，重新开始申请。
Advocates hope the law can be changed to provide a new start to help these stateless people in Taiwan. First, to restore their identities, then to restore their faith in the country they'd once dreamed of. Potentially dangerous fungus has been found on fruit in chain supermarkets in Taiwan. The country's National Health Research Institute found fruit contaminated with Candida tropicalis. This drug-resistant fungus can cause yeast infections and illnesses that can be fatal in rare cases. Health officials advise washing fruit thoroughly before eating to avoid infection. A king of the ocean is becoming a rare find in South America. Harel Hughes reports on how the king crab is disappearing from Argentina's coast.
A dish fit for a king, the king crab. It's a local specialty in the city of Ushuaia in Argentina, at the southernmost tip of South America, Tierra del Fuego. Tourists from all over the world travel here to try the Patagonian delicacy. But restaurants are noticing a change.
En Ushuaia hoy los restaurantes están sacando el producto centolla de sus cartas porque no lo tienen, no lo consiguen. No está la propuesta de la centolla en los proveedores que tenían normalmente.
Fishers have seen the decline coming for a while.
El tema de la merma de la centolla, yo te diría que podría ser unos 4 o 5 años atrás que empezó a decaer un poco, según en qué zona, ¿sí?
Scientists have been studying the king crab population since the 1970s and say this year is different. The population is now in a vulnerable position. They point to 2 factors: fishing patterns and climate change. One possible solution is to cultivate king crab larvae in the hope of releasing them into the wild. But scientists say more must be done.
No olvidarnos que también es un recurso muy importante para nuestra región, que tenemos que proteger, es parte de nuestro ecosistema y también es parte de nuestro acervo cultural como emblema incluso de nuestra región.
The king crab is not just a delicious dish, but also an icon of Tierra del Fuego. Conservationists hope its king claws won't disappear from Cape Horn. Delphine Chen and Harel Hughes for TaiwanPlus.
Italy is world-renowned for its food, and now it's forging ahead with a new kind of restaurant that's being hailed as a barking success. Louise Watt has the story.
This restaurant in Rome doesn't just serve regular diners. It doubles as a gourmet restaurant for dogs. Each table has seats for the owners and a basket and bowl filled with mineral water for their pets. And it's a choice menu for the canine customers too.
Vengono preparati, diciamo, dal macinato di manzo, il maiale, il pollo, il merluzzo, poi ci sono le verdure, le carote, zucchine vellutate e via discorrendo, che poi vengono composte insieme e creato il piatto.
The chef at Futo restaurant prepares the dog's dinner in a separate kitchen and says they rarely turn their noses up at his mains or desserts.
È un crumble di biscotto con ricotta e mela verde.
The dogs lap it all up.
Umano.
Prego.
Grazie umano, avevo proprio fame.
The restaurant has spotted a business opportunity in the Italian capital. Dogs are increasingly considered not just a pet, but a member of the family, going wherever their owner goes.
Diciamo che se io trovassi il principe azzurro farei anche un figlio. Nel frattempo ho partorito lei 2 anni e mezzo fa e quindi tutta la mia vita, il mio amore e le mie attenzioni sono dedicate a lei.
Dining out can bring social benefits for the dogs too.
Abbiamo avuto una serata dove 2 cagnolini hanno trovato l'amore, quindi erano 2 maltesini, un maschio e una femminuccia, e si sono scambiati i padroni il numero perché si sono piaciuti veramente tanto.
The dogs appear to view the gourmet meals and experience of dining out, even if under a table, positively, giving Futo and its chef a resounding paws up. Luffy Lee and Louise Watt for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. You can visit the TaiwanPlus website or follow our social media for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Before we go, feast your eyes on some Yule logs in the shape of iconic buildings in Paris. I'm Reece Ayers, take care and see you next time.
Thank you for watching TaiwanPlus. For more stories from the Pacific nation of Tuvalu and around the world, download the TaiwanPlus app.